Honorable Men Discord, how much does your soul cost? Let's talk about it.
How you see yourself is how you perceived. I see a man strong, gifted, head strapping, never down on his knees, begging. Gotta make a way, even in my darkest hour. Say the odds against me was new, I would never cower.
As always, welcome back to another episode. If you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Tell a friend to tell a friend. I drop episodes daily at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. So, as I asked in the beginning, how much does your soul cost? The reason why I'm asking that is because Terrence Crawford sat down with the Pivot podcast and he was speaking to Channing Crowder, who's a former NFL player, and the talk of money came up. And Crowder believes that every man has a dollar amount that will basically cause them to compromise themselves, or they're willing to compromise or willing to change their mind based on a particular dollar amount. But let's get into this video and I'm going to talk about it further.
Everything got price. Because people say, like, I love my dog. I get $100. No, I get $1,000. No, I get $100,000. Hey, you can have it. Like, my thought is everything has a price. There is not a number that can get you back in that ring. 80 million, 100 million.
Nah, because now you selling your soul.
$100 million, you can have my soul.
That's you. Now we know your character. Sometimes, you look at people and you be like, dang, man, you ain't got no dignity. You ain't got no morals. Like, come on, man. Like, what you gonna stand for if everything is about money? Like, I never was in a sport because of money. Of course, I was in a sport to make money, but I wanted to be a world champion. Yeah. I wanted to do something that I set my sights out to do as a little boy. And money wasn't the motivation. Me being a world champion was the motivation. Me accomplishing all the things that I've accomplished along the way on my journey, it was extra credit.
Follow for more and pass it on.
Listen, the odd moment in that video was Channing Crowder thinking that was going to be something that Crawford would laugh at. He was looking for, did he mean what he said? I believe he meant what he said, but he wasn't expecting Crawford to be so firm in his conviction, so firm in his stance. And listen, everybody's entitled to their opinion, but I used to think like Channing Crowder, that everyone says one thing, but for the right dollar amount, they'll compromise themselves or they'll change their mind. And I understand what Crawford was saying. But I think it really depends on the situation and circumstance. So I'm not gonna say that Channing Crowder was wrong. I'll say he was wrong for saying that he'll sell his soul. That was extreme, and I'm assuming he only said that to be funny. I'm hoping he only said that to be funny, because that's one thing I don't agree with. I don't believe anyone should sell their soul. But I do believe there are those out there that will change their mind based on a dollar amount and based on circumstance. There's not many of us that's willing to sell our soul for the dollar, but there are some that will. So, for example, Crawford could say that because if you watch the full interview, he spoke about how his family's well off and that he's broke because his family's well off. He made sure he took care of his family, which is a noble and respectable thing to do as a man that has a family. So had his family not been set, where this conversation started is for the right dollar amount, he would come out of retirement, right? So now if his family wasn't set and he didn't do all the right things financially to set their future up, then Channing Crowder, in my opinion, would be correct in saying that for the right dollar amount, he would have came out of retirement. As a matter of fact, he wouldn't even have retired, in my opinion, had his family not been set up. I don't believe Crawford would have retired even after the belt if his family wasn't set up. Now, that's one of those things that I can't prove because he is, in fact, retired right now. His family is well set up. But I think for any man, I think it's safe to say I don't think we would stop working if the job's not done. I mean, how could we? If we ourselves aren't set up for the future and our family's not set up for the future, how could we say, well, I don't feel like working anymore? We're not in a position to, which is why people that retire usually retire because they retired with enough investments and enough, maybe they have a pension that they're able to retire. But for many of us who are not in that position to retire, we're going to continue working. All right. So it's one of those things that I understand what Crawford's saying, but he's saying it, in my opinion, from a place of stability and from a place of knowing that he has his finances in order. But, you know, would he come out of retirement if something goes left with his finances? It's possible he would, you know. But one thing I could tell from his statement is that he's not Floyd Mayweather in the fact that he's not chasing dollars just to chase dollars. And that's no slight at Floyd Mayweather either, because Floyd Mayweather is one of my favorite boxers along with Crawford. But it's just one of those things where Floyd Mayweather made his career letting everyone know that he's money made. You know, he's after the dollars. You know, he flaunts it and so on and so forth. So he makes no apologies at chasing the dollar. Whereas Crawford is he's more minimalistic with his spending. If you ever watch videos with Crawford, he's never flashy. I mean, you know, recently in some of his fights, you'll see him with a chain around his neck at the end of the fight. But other than that, you rarely see him flashing anything. Even right now in this interview, you just see him with a windbreaker on and a t-shirt underneath. Nothing flashy, you know. But listen, that's my thoughts on this. The only part again that I don't agree with is Crawford saying he would sell his soul for a dollar amount. I think that's a short-term gain if you don't believe in an afterlife, if you don't think there's more out there besides the life that you're living now. So that's my only take from this episode, is I disagree with selling your soul for a dollar amount. I think it's actually embarrassing to say something like that on camera, but he has no shame. That's on him. He's his own man. But what's your thoughts on this episode? As always, I appreciate everyone for tuning in. If you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Tell a friend to tell a friend. I drop episodes daily at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And as always, stay honorable.